Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Superintendent Janice Ross.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. Wow, Mr. Paul, so we begin again our journey with our young men, our My Brother's Keeper. What a journey we've had. Only about a year and a half, or now maybe we're going on to 2 years, right? We're getting into December where we launch. And it has grown and grown, and I'm so proud of our young men stepping up, the work that they're doing, and just showing up all the time, whether they're online, remote, hybrid, in the building, out of the building, just really great stuff. Katrina, thank you for joining us in our journey with MBK.
Good afternoon, good evening.
Hey, who's that?
Albert Daniels.
Hey, Albert, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
All right. So we have a jam-packed day with our journey. We will continue our work with, as I was saying, with Inspiring Minds. Katrina, thank you so much. I think I've made this public and shouted you out on Twitter, but the work that you're doing is incredible. And I know you don't do it for the recognition, but you need to be recognized. You are changing lives. You are impacting our young people. You are impacting our communities. And furthermore, you are making a difference in the New York City public school system. And for that, you should be recognized. So I thank you for that. And it is an honor and privilege to be working with you and our young men. So that comes from the bottom of the heart. Terrence, as always, it's a pleasure working with you. I know you put a lot of energy in our advisors, our men that are here supporting our young men. And so, yes, we can pull up Dr. Stinnett. We can get him up there. I'm about to introduce him right now anyway. That's the man right here. He's the one that's making this happen with our young men. Every single time Dr. Stinnett, well, I would say walk into a room, but now we're in COVID. So every time he comes into a screen, people feel your presence, Dr. Stinnett. I'm proud to be working with you. But before I just introduce you, I just want to say the journey for this, for us, is to make sure our young men of color and now our young women of color in MSK are provided the resources that they deserve, that we lift them up in everything we do to ensure that we're changing the trajectory of our young men and for future lives of America. And I'm going big. I'm going for America because we serve 47 schools, 28,000 children. So we collectively can make a difference with our young men and women. And that is our goal. We want to advance equity in all of our schools, create anti-racist leaders, anti-racist schools. And through this program, we can do that. And with the help of Dr. Stinnett, who no matter where he goes, he stays with us. Now the head of Global Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion of Warner Music Group. He's bringing us some amazing people. Chris Atlas is with us tonight. So I'm just proud to be here. And it's a proud moment. It's a mother moment, as I have 2 children, but now I'm looking at having 14,000 young men as my children. So without further ado, I am introducing Dr. Stinnett. And looking forward to this evening. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, our young men. We love you very much. Please know that we are here for you, and we lift as we climb. Yes, we do.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Superintendent Ross, for your dedication and your commitment to all of us and the students in particular. We love you and appreciate your leadership and respect everything that you're doing. To my brother, Terrence, thank you for putting this together, leading the charge, and everybody else is involved in making this happen. I don't want to forget anybody. I know it takes multiple folks to pull this off. And most importantly, to the students, to you for showing up. 67 in the room, in the house. And so thank you for showing up. Again, as you know, this is the first family and a very exciting time. This is the first of a speaker series, community engagement speaker series that we're going to have. And tonight's theme is your journey and brotherhood, right? And as you know, over the next 6 months, you'll be going on a journey with us, learning and building together, being exposed to talented Black professionals, male and female. It's important for you to get both sides of the equation there, male and female Black professionals, leaders in a lot of industries. As you all know, I pivoted out of the NBA, not completely gone, still connected to the family, but now in the music industry. And everybody, they used to say to me, every baller wants to be a musical artist, every musical artist wants to be a baller, right? And so they're inextricably tied together. And so we're going to take you on a journey now in the music industry and tapping into some of my colleagues around there. And so thankful for my man, Chris, who is joining us today. I can't wait till he tells his story. I will not steal his thunder. We'll get to the introduction, but you're in for a treat. And so, like I said, this is the beginning of a journey, my friends, and I'm happy to be here with you. We're in the season of Thanksgiving, and I've been thinking about that today and processing that. In the middle of a pandemic, it is challenging oftentimes, Albert, to find things to be thankful for when everything seems to be going wrong, when your life is turned upside down. And what is it that we are thankful for amidst all of this pain and frustration and the shifting, right? And I was able to pause and reflect. And what this did for me, and I don't know if it did it for you, but I would challenge you, what this moment in time and history has done for me is caused me to reevaluate what I thought was important, what I considered to be so significant. And now I've begun to see and understand the things that I thought as a Black male in this society, in this world, that was so important, making a lot of money, living in a big, beautiful home, driving fancy cars, fascinating, wonderful trips around the world. All of that's great. But do you know during COVID, all of that diminished and it fell down that ladder of what was important. And you know what became important? My family, life, health, right? Love, right? All of that became important for me. And the truth is, it should have always been the priority and important for me. And I'm glad, and I'm going to choose to reset myself and to be thankful in this season for you all, that you're alive and you're well and you're here, able to engage with one another, able to engage with me, that we are here strong, right? Still alive, still strong, still able with a vision and a focus and a passion to be more and to be greater. And so that's what I'm thankful for, family. I'm thankful for you all. I'm thankful for life. I'm thankful for health and strength. And I'm thankful for hope. Hope. And that's what I lean into. And I hope that's what this journey will be for you on today, as we're talking about a journey of brotherhood, right? And understanding that it's full of hope, because you're going to have obstacles. You're going to have challenges. You're going to have setbacks. You're going to have disappointments. Pandemic came out of nowhere, hits us all, blindsides us, and we have our own personal pandemics, right? And I don't know what they are and those challenges are, but hope is what we're going to hold on to. Hope and a spirit and a disposition of thanksgiving, because I do believe that maintaining a disposition and an attitude of thanksgiving and hope will get us through whatever dark day we're in. And that's what I want to encourage you all with today. So I'm thankful for you all, because guess what? You are my hope. You're my hope, right? You're my hope. And so I'm thankful for your lives. I'm thankful for this opportunity to engage. I'm done with my opening remarks. We're going to have a great program. This is just one of the beginning, one of many. And I can't wait to see what we do today, but you're in for a treat. My man, Chris, is coming to you and he's going to bless the mic tonight. wealth of experience. We'll get to the intro for him properly, but I'm excited about it. So thank you for joining us, and thanks for this opportunity to serve.
And thank you, Dr. Stinnett, and being a partner with us. And we are so excited for you to kick us off as one of our offerings for MBK this year, under the leadership of Superintendent Janice Ross. I am here with you all in spirit and community. MBK presents MBK Community. And tonight we are showing exactly what that is. We have, was a little bit different than our focus for this year, for MBK year 2. It is time for leaders to emerge and step up. We first want to give a shout out to our District 19 brethren who are in the house, under the leadership of Dr. Thomas McBride. We have some of our MBK young men from D19, the D19 Brotherhood in the house. Shout out to all of you. I see Brother Lewis front and center in my screen. So you all are there. So I want to make sure that we give you all proper blessings. And we couldn't do this without all of you as a community. We want to give a shout out to our MBK advisors who are here. We want to give a shout out to our young men and even some of our young ladies, MSK. We have my sister in this regard, Dr. Rochelle White. She's leading the MSK charge. She's in the house. And this is all about community. So our MBK community, our MBK presents, this is what you'll be seeing this year. And our young men and our young leaders will be leading this charge. So they will be the ones steering the ship, advising what we do this year, setting our agenda, setting our fun activities, making sure that we're all about leadership and service. So they will be heard, their voices will be heard, and we can't do it without the community. So again, a shout out to all of you for coming tonight, and we're looking forward to December. So I'm going to stop right now and reshare my screen, and I'm going to actually bring to the virtual stage. Let's see. Okay, so it usually should be smooth, right? And everything is up, but I've been having some challenges with my computer. Here we go. I'm gonna bring to the stage Noah Francis. Are you in the house, sir?
Yes, I am.
All right. So Noah Francis is one of District Fellows. He is gonna take us, he's gonna lead the mic right now, or bless the mic right now. Mr. Francis, all on you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Noah Francis. I am a senior at Benjamin Banneker, and I'm also a MBK member and district fellow. I'm a producer slash audio engineer. I've been producing for 3 years now, and I actually made the music that you heard at the start of the meeting, which I hope everybody liked. A key moment that I recall from my time at Banneker was when Mr. Blakes, one of the leaders for the MBK boys at my school, utilized his networking skills not only to find us and many other Banneker students jobs, but also took the time out to implement lessons on proper job etiquette and creating effective resumes. MBK is truly all about creating a brotherhood, and we at Banneker are very appreciative of all that MBK has done for us and are extremely grateful for the life lessons we have administered in our daily lives. Now I'll pass it off to my district fellow, Michael.
How you guys doing today? How you doing, my brothers and sisters? Welcome, welcome. My name is Michael Muir. I go to school for Class 6 in Brooklyn, New York. I am an MBK State Fellow, and I am an Inspiring Minds intern. When I first started MBK, it was started off as a little group. It gave me a passion to help my brothers, and now for fundamentals, my sisters, to drive forward and lift each other up. We lift as we climb. You know that motto, we go by it and we live by it. So, well, Terrence, can you move the next slide so I can show you the fundamentals so we can continue our path to success and come the next year forward. Terrence?
I'm sorry, I'm muted. Michael, did you want to say a little bit about the fellows and leadership council?
Yes, definitely. So the way we're structuring MBK moving forward, we're going to have school fellows, we're going to have district fellows, as you saw Noah was, and we're going to have state fellows, which is me. So the way we're structuring it, we're going to have community with the school fellows, which are going to direct the schools and get different reports on things that you need, like things you want to talk about, like mental health, just school, if school is hard, because I know for myself even, school has been rough, like really rough. So Like if you want to talk about that, and then the school fellow brings it to the district fellow, where we have a council and they will talk about it and then move it to the state level. So we can have town halls just like this, and we can talk about it, whatever you need, whatever guests you want us to bring on to speak about that topic and help you better and being our brothers and sisters. Then we will also structure it in a way where everybody will get their voice. Everybody wants to be heard. Because, as my brother and sisters, it's fundamental that we strive together. It makes us stronger, togetherness. Let me first of all, I'm a little. Let me shake the nerves off. I have a little nerves right now. Let me shake the nerves off.
It's okay, bro. Take your time.
Feel me? Appreciate y'all. But I want to tell a moment that like made me passionate about this. It was my first time. I think it was like my second time meeting Terrence. I went to what school? It was Frank and Kaylee in high school. It was about 10 boys when they were first kicking off. What I heard from those boys telling their stories, and it's like I go through that every day too. And like hearing them, and there was one kid who had this fundamental. He almost made me cry. He almost made me cry, and I'm like, it hit me. It's like, I started being real passionate. From that moment forward, I've been going at it. I want the top spot. I want to show that I care. And I'm telling you, when you really into it, and you want to reach that state fellow, that district fellow, when you're really passionate about it, that's your true leader right there. When you're passionate and you're able to lift up the people with you, it's amazing. Because as I said before, togetherness is all we need. And now with our sisters coming into their own light, it's amazing. Like I think everyone here showing your support, because it's like I'm scared for myself to see where we go in the next year, and we're gonna be crazy, y'all. And I'm a senior, so I'm still, when I go to college, I'm with y'all. Whatever y'all need, any knowledge I got, it's crazy. And I think Mr. Stinnett, I've been talking to him before when he used to work at the Barclays. He's a genius. He got brains for days. Like I learned so much. So I want to thank everybody here. And wait, I also want to talk before I introduce my executive producer of Inspiring Minds. I want to talk about my experience running town halls just like this, where we've had talk about mental health, COVID situation. Like in the space of May through now, we've had different town halls where we talk about police brutality, mental health, school situations, and just chilling and talking to our people, getting to know each other. That I'm telling you, there's some people that that live right next to you that you've never talked to, but they're in the same mindset and the same troubles as you, and you can lift each other up. So I like to represent and introduce Katrina Peru, the executive director of Inspiring Minds. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Real quick before I speak, do you want to talk to them about the school report and how that works?
I got you real quick, since Terrence got the slide up now. So basically, with the school fellows, they will identify problems or things that people will need to work on, or kids that have problems with certain situations. And as I said before, we will take it to the district fellows and have a council meeting where we would discuss and advise different town halls, which me or other students will lead, because it's our problem. So we want to lead it and we want to show our passion for it, as I was saying before. So that's and we want to see a leadership. You an MBK fellow, you want a school fellow, you want to be a state fellow. Just show that passion. It's the passion. Once you have a passion for it, it's never like work, it's not a job. It's something you going crazy for. You want it, you need it. But thank y'all so much.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Michael. So, hi everyone. My name is Katrina Peru, and I'm the executive director of Inspiring Minds. I'm super excited about partnering with Brooklyn North High Schools this year as a lead CBO for their MBK initiative. Inspiring Minds, we are a community-centered model that uses culturally responsive programs as a vehicle to engage our young people in their education and community. I'm sure that we have all heard of that saying that it takes a village to raise a child. But what if that village is working in silos? What if that village is not organizing in a way that allows our youth the opportunity to collaborate, build, and fellowship with the community stakeholders around them. Well, I designed the Inspire Minds model as a solution to that problem. And since the pandemic, we have engaged approximately 110 high school students across New York City through online programs that focus on rites of passage, health and wellness, civic engagement. And we also hosted 4 community town hall meetings since the pandemic. And actually starting December 12th or on December 12th, we'll be hosting a virtual town hall meeting that will include high school kids from Philadelphia, high school kids from Ohio, and also high school kids from across New York City. So one of the things that I learned through the pandemic is that our young people felt a sense of powerlessness. You know, everything was taken away from them, their ability to hang out with their friends, their ability to go to the movies, or just do the things that they normally are used to doing. And through the town hall meetings, it was a platform that empowered them to be able to be the solution to the problems they were facing. Through our 4 town halls, we solved every single problem that we tried to solve in partnership with our community. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to show a short 2-minute clip. Terrence, can you unshare your screen? I'm going to show a short 2-minute clip of one of our town hall meetings from the spring.
Fighting for my life every day as a Black man, where do I go? Do I turn to the police? No, I can't though. They killed my brothers and my friends though.
I feel it's important to know about your Black history because the more you know about your Black history, it can turn you into a leader. And we need a lot of leaders. So whatever we have in this generation doesn't happen in the next. They can inspire the minds of the next generation. So I feel the past can definitely help change the future.
I also like the idea of the mobile pantry because I feel like there are some people outside that don't have enough money to buy food, that may be hungry, that may have families that are outside and don't have a place, to lay their head.
That maybe, in the process of doing this, you can make it a norm for schools to have pantries.
Right.
Just to have fun, like just put a smile on people's faces because through this pandemic, people are getting very depressed. Like, I want people to take time out of their day or their week to, to relieve themselves of that depression. Because I know family members are getting corona, or people like family members are getting hurt throughout the protests and stuff. And I don't want them to just keep thinking about that stuff. I just want them to let them know that we're here and then let's have a good time together,
I just got one thing. Would y'all be open to, as y'all go from level to level, maybe having history questions or things like that?
Are you guys, are the ideas that you are all expressing very unique ideas? Because I have not heard of, kids your age or people your age, because you guys are young adults, coming up with these really bright ideas. I have not heard of any of these ideas.
I thank y'all because y'all just gave me today from the ideas that y'all put together. Y'all just gave me the inspiration to keep moving, to keep inspiring, to keep believing. You know what I'm saying? That we're going to be all right.
All right, and that's just one example from one of our town halls. And I'm proud to say that 2 of the ideas that was presented in that town hall was funded by the Brooklyn Community Foundation. And those students were able to lead those projects in their community and get paid for it. So they created their own summer jobs in a way where they were able to inspire change in their community. Without further ado, I want to introduce a young man who is very special to me and also the Inspiring Minds community. His name is Joshua Applewhite. When I first saw Joshua, he was speaking at a transfer school conference. And I was just blown away by his presence, by his wisdom, and by his desire to want to lead and contribute to his community. And after that transfer school conference, I asked around, I was asking around, where can I find this kid? I need for him to be a part of my program. And I ended up finding him on social media, and I sent him a direct message. And I asked him if he could be one of my youth leaders. and he's been rocking and rolling with me ever since April, leading town hall meetings and being a strong leader in our community. So without further ado, I introduce to you guys Joshua Applewhite.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joshua Applewhite. I'm a student at Liberation, a senior. Shout out to you, Katrina. Thank you for this. Shout out to my principal, April Leone. She's in the chat. You'll probably see her. Wow, it's crazy to be here. I'm very thankful for this opportunity. I'm thankful for everything so far. I wanted to quickly say these town halls have been definitely a way for us as a youth to feel empowered. I can speak for that personally because when this pandemic hit, I remember right before it, I was complaining about everything from the people in my life to the situations. I was a very complacent person. And then all of a sudden, it was almost like the pandemic was a way of humbling me. It was like, you know what? You want to complain? All right, let's take away everything from you. And when it did, obviously I was sad, but then I kind of felt like I regretted a lot of that. So through these town halls, it was a way for me to voice my opinions on things, to talk about different things, and also to kind of vent. And I've found my voice in the last few months due to all of the things that have happened within my life. That video in itself was also very inspirational to me because I thought it was dope that a lot of young kids and young people can come together and voice their opinions and support each other and support, each other in this Black and brown community, because we don't really have opportunities like these to discuss ourselves, to express ourselves, to speak our minds, especially as young people. And I'm pretty sure I led it was either the last town hall or the town hall before it. I led that along with a fellow intern at Inspire Minds, Sakira, shout out to her. But it was dope to me to be able to lead that because it was really just a way to kind of test my ability to speak, to express myself to everybody, to just talk. Talking is something that I can do for hours, if you let me. So it was really great to lead something like that. And through that town hall, actually, we were able to raise a total of $36,000 to expand paid internships, purchase digital devices for students, and to extend the Leadership Institute through the school year. So Inspire Minds has actually continued into a fall session, program now. Like now we're doing it throughout the fall because of that town hall. And we are also able to fund 2 youth-led projects, Know Your History and the Mobile Pantry. Roshan and Jalil, shout out to you guys. Jalil's story is actually interesting because Jalil, when he initially found out about his history through your Know Your History program and whatnot, he said that he felt angry. He was angry that he didn't know anything, that he wasn't informed about this throughout his life. And that anger became a passion, and that passion became a drive. So that drove him to want to create his own program. And it became a thing during the summer of Inspiring Minds. During that program, Know Your History, he led that and he did an amazing job, and it was very inspirational. And I just think overall, this is very exciting to be able to talk like the MBK and everything, to be able to just come together and talk like this and discuss different things. Before we move on, I actually wanted to share a poem that I wrote. It's called The Fruits Thereof. It kind of discusses some of the issues that we as Black and brown people have to deal with. So I said, I asked to move forward, my Lord, rid me of ash. I want my feelings aboard, not suppress my past. The downfall of us men and the downfall of my sisters. Sorry on behalf of us all that we couldn't be the right misters. I commonly held on to my trump card of self-sabotage. Please loosen my chains. I want to live free within a lodge. I sit sometimes and wonder why I've escaped the mist of destruction, distortion, and fear. I swear that ignorance of bliss. She clung to me the way I clung to denial. God judged me and I pled guilty to my trial, too late in my trial. So let's allow tribulations to be revelations, because when thou see me through that lens, surely mistaken for Satan. Survival often substitutes love. My fear of man is an inferior fear to him above. From now to the end, they should recognize me, the healer. Your walls are an orange, seemingly tough. Call me the peeler. And
Nice.
Nicely done.
Yep. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Now, to introduce the co-facilitator for this next segment, Brian Favors, the director of culturally responsive teachings for Inspiring Minds. This man is brilliant. He is amazing. Just being there, I would look forward to always going to Know Your History because there were a lot of things that I didn't know. So I'm gonna let him take the mic and introduce himself. So without further ado, Brian, if you would please get up here, talk to the people.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Let's give it up for
Brother Joshua one more time. Let's give it up. Let's give it up. You know, one thing is clear, you know, Joshua goes to an alternative school. I was an educator at Bushwood Community High School for 12 years at an alternative school. A lot of times when you get to know alternative students, you find out, you know, a lot of them went through negative experiences in their previous institutions. A lot of people doubted them and had low expectations. But look at this brother right here. You know, here he is. One thing I love about MBK is we have young people from all of these different schools. Some are considered for challenging students, some are for high achieving. But when we get in these programs, you don't see the difference because there is no shortage of intellectualism in our community, no shortage of leadership, and we see that with Michael and you, Joshua. So I just give thanks. I'm honored to be a part of the MBK program. My name is Brian Favors, and I am with Inspiring Minds. I'm the director of culturally responsive pedagogy. Been an educator in this community for over 16 years. And I just want to, I don't want to talk too long because I want to throw this back to the young people, but I'm a quote guy. So I want to kind of share a few quotes. And one I got from Brother Wayne Harris, that's actually a proverb. And he said it once and it always stuck with me. He said, a child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. A child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. And I think that really speaks to what we're trying to do here with my brother's keeper. I've been blessed. I've been running young men's empowerment programs for about 15 years. And one thing that we have to understand is how important these programs are. You know, a lot of our young people, just last night, hearing about the shootout in my neighborhood and the party not far from my home in Brooklyn, and the young people who just got shot, so many different issues that we're dealing with. And you guys, you young people are blessed because you have a village, because you guys are part of leadership, because you guys have been tapped, you guys have been grabbed, you guys have been put into all of these leadership positions. And I believe wholeheartedly that to whom much is given, much is required. And it's going to require you guys. When we think about my brother's keeper, it is not just me, let me get to college, let me take care of myself, because you guys are brilliant and people are going to scoop you up and give you scholarships and you guys are going to do well. You guys are a part of our community and the legacy of service leadership. You know, it's important for you to understand, as Michael said, when you get somewhere, you got to bring your brothers with you, right? There's also another proverb, an African proverb, it said, sticks in a bundle are unbreakable. And I think one of the things I'm most proud of since this summer, Trina bringing us all together virtually, just to see all these young brothers from different areas. Oftentimes, you know, it's tough to get us to take off our tough face and to express ourselves, but to come together every week and to see all these young, energetic spirits willing to help each other and really to share, openly sharing. And it's just been a beautiful thing. And I just want to encourage you all to continue this. We're going to have a conversation right now because we want to hear from you. And we want to talk about the fact that we all know, you know, this program was started because we're in a crisis. You know, when you look at stats, I think young brothers between 18 and 35, you know, 1 in 3 of us are going to end up in jail cells, statistically, they say. You know, when I go into classrooms and do my programs, I say, raise your hand if you know someone that's locked up. Usually 75, 80% of the class will raise their hand if it's a school of people of color. We are in a crisis, y'all. And it's very important for us to have conversations about what our role is, not just taking care of ourselves. We got to do that first. But, you know, when you think about a Muhammad Ali, someone who's the heavyweight champion of the world, right, and has everything going for him, and then risk it all so he can be a voice for our people, and ends up having to do public speaking and have a piggy bank just so he can eat. When you think about a Dr. King, someone who could have lived a long life and had a TV show on MSNBC, but he chose to speak out about injustices and gave his life. And we could go on and on and on and on. The point is, we are a part of that legacy. And with Know Your History and the Young Men's Program, we adhere to the principle of Sankofa. You have to go back to the past. You have to know your culture as you're walking into the future, because Marcus Garvey reminds me of people without knowledge of our history and culture are like trees with no roots. So that's what we try to do in our identity development, Know Your History program, really empower you to use the skills that the Creator has given us so that we can be the leaders that we're looking for. And I'm in my 40s. A lot of the men that you see here, you know, are older, but this isn't charity. This isn't our give back. This is our responsibility, because you guys are our future. So having these town hall meetings are critical, because we're going to learn from you, and you guys are going to start it at a young age thinking about what your role is in breaking this cycle. So I'm going to be quiet now, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of what we deal with in our young men's program. If you haven't been there, we want to invite you to come, because we have to know who we are. It's no coincidence that those of us who came here in chains just so happen to be the ones that are disproportionately still in chains. So with that being said, I'm going to pass the mic back to Joshua, and we're going to facilitate a discussion, and we want to hear from you. We had last week we had a session, and one of our young brothers, Jalil, in the Know Your History, he said that he was out, he got searched for the first time. He got pulled over and kind of violated by police for the first time. They heard gunshots in their neighborhood, and him and his friends were running, and then police ended up pressing him. And we had a long conversation about it, but I thought, wow, what kind of society are we in where our young people have to be afraid of one another in many situations because of the violence in our neighborhood? And then the people who get paid to protect us, we have to fear them as well. So we're dealing with a lot of trauma, which is more of the reason why you young leaders and us as a whole community have to think about what your role is and how we can support you in breaking this cycle. So with that being said, I'm going to pass the mic back off to you, Joshua, so you can lead us in our conversation.
Thank you for that, Brian. That was great. All right, yeah. So we definitely want to hear from you people. So get in the chat box, type in your responses. Quickly, I want to say this. Within your own communities, what do you feel like is the biggest issue that we as young Black and brown men face? What do you think the challenges are? Whether it can be physically, it can be mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. What do you think are those challenges that we face?
Hi. Can I say something?
Yes, you make it, so go ahead.
Okay, so I think the biggest problem we face in the community is we're not physically or sometimes mentally aware that there's a problem. We go around and we say that, these white people are racist to us, and that is true, but we have to sometimes sit back and think that, that we need to, as a community, fix the problems that are here so that we can fix the general problem of this, country, of this world. So I feel like, sometimes we need to take a step back and take care of ourselves, figure out what's wrong with us and what we need to fix about ourselves.
I agree. Thank you for that, Katsura. That was very well put. Looking into this, I see being misunderstood, lack of expression, lack of true knowledge of ourselves, being raised without a father, spaces to express, stereotypes, the killing of our own people, racial profiling, poverty, mental health, jail time, lack of employment. Michael, you said you wanted to speak?
Yeah, I just want to speak real quick because I don't want to take time from my other brothers. But for me, I would think the biggest problem is mental health, mindset. I remember in Brian's class, we learned a lot about toxic masculinity and trying to prove yourself to people who don't even care about you. But that's mine. I don't want to take too much time from y'all.
It seems that a lot of what everyone's saying kind of ties into a thing of accountability, which I feel like is one of the biggest issues we as Black and brown men face, because you can't really fix an issue if you don't know why it's there or what the problem is. It starts within. It starts within ourselves. So we have to realize and recognize our problems instead of blaming other people and putting it and pinning it on whatever else around us. We have to fix it first. We have to learn to do things for ourselves.
And can I say jump in? And because I'm looking at the chat too, and I think it's important to know, you said that I think Katura said that a lot of us don't even know that there is a problem, and a lot of us have been desensitized to it because we've been going through it so long without a context. Harriet Tubman, one of my spiritual role models, she has a quote. She says, "I freed hundreds of slaves.
Harriet Tubman more."
I freed hundreds of slaves. I could have freed hundreds more had they only known that they were enslaved. And the reality is we had been so traumatized through slavery and through the brainwashing and the conditioning that we were desensitized to everything that was going on around us. When I was young, my grandma used to say, Black people are like crabs in a bucket. One crab climbs up and the other one pulls them down. But she never told me that crabs weren't supposed to be in a bucket. And we haven't always been like that. So if you think that your reality began in 1619 and you think this is just the norm, a lot of times people are desensitized to it. So I definitely kind of wanted to piggyback on that. And also you had said, Joshua, we can't blame other people. Well, I think it's important to know it's not our fault that we're in this condition and to understand what happened to us, but we're the solution.
Yep.
We're the solution. No one's coming to save us. So those are a few things I want to comment, but I want to hear those of you who had some of those comments. Why don't you share a little bit more? We see hunger, lack of employment, lack of collective focus, mental health, dealing with corrupt justice system. Like to hear from some of you guys.
Can I say something?
Absolutely, Jeremy. Go ahead, Jeremy.
I just want to turn my camera. Okay.
There you go.
I just want to say, I feel like in our community, there's a lack of spirit, lack of faith, and lack of hope. I feel like a lot of brown and black people are in our community are just kind of like, oh, the only way I can make it out is through sports or selling drugs and joining a gang. When in reality, there's so many other ways that you can become successful and live a happy life. And I feel like if we push that and get that out to a lot of people in our communities and stuff, I feel like it would just benefit everybody and everyone would be happy and, you know, everything would just start to increase. I feel like nowadays, you know, even from artists now, they talk about how I dropped out of school to become a rapper. And then now you have all these kids in the communities thinking, oh, that's what I have to do to feed my family and make it out. When in reality, we have people in the MBK who are making such a big difference without doing all that stuff, who are making an even bigger difference than what the rappers are doing now. Because they're just, you know, putting out the wrong perspective instead of doing what, you know, MBK is doing and try to build great young men and great young leaders to change the world. So that's what I feel like is lacking in our community.
I 100% agree with you. That limiting mindset is often what has us going at each other. We're at odds with one another because we think that there's not enough for everybody. So we're limited to thinking that we can only make it in certain ways, and like we have a limited perspective of what success is and what victory is and what living a good life is. So I think that was brilliant. Anyone else have anything else they'd like to say?
I would like to add on. Oh, you can go.
Wait, who's going?
Either one of you, jump in.
I'd like to say something.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So my name is, first of all, before I start speaking, I'd like to say my name is Brandon. It's a pleasure to be here. So going on to my point on the corrupt justice system, I feel like it's put fear on many communities, and not just the Black community, but also Hispanic communities as well. And it's put fear to the point to where they're being brainwashed by that fear into just accepting the society the way it is. But also by that fear, it makes them, it forces them to live a life that they aren't happy with. And it's just really says something about our society of how this nation truly isn't the land of the free, and how it's not really living up to that promise that we've been taught as kids. And it kind of breaks my heart to actually learn about that so late, because before I used to think that this place was such a beautiful place, like this perfect place compared to everywhere else. But ever since I first heard of like slavery and then stuff happening throughout my own community, I just don't believe that anymore. And the worst part is I live with my own parents that are corrupted by that fear, because I always tell my parents that what happens what happens to these communities on television is wrong, but they say that would you rather live back in Ecuador where your life is probably not going to be better than it is here, or would you rather just live here where you have so many opportunities? But even here, my low-income family still doesn't have any opportunities. We are not living the American dream, and I'm pretty sure people who are forced to believe that as well aren't living it as well.
Thank you, Brandon. That was deep. Like I applaud you for being vulnerable enough to share that.
Can I comment to that really quick?
Yeah.
I just want to say, Jeremy, you're brilliant, and that was
that was Brandon.
Yeah. Oh, was it Brandon? Yeah, Brandon. I'm sorry. That was brilliant. But one thing I want to say is, you know, you say you learned this so late, and it made me smile because what you just articulated, and it was brilliant. But I didn't learn that until I was in my 20s. I was in college in an African American Studies and Native American Studies course. So one thing I would just say is you have to learn this and understand it. And the blessing in what you have and what all of you guys have is you guys have the rest of your life to use school, to research, to find a calling, to find a purpose that is in line with changing those things. You have the ability. It's so much better than when you're 25, 30. There's a quote by Frederick Douglass that says, it's easier to build strong children than repair broken men, right? So it's a great thing, and it hurts. It hurts to learn the truth. It's a very painful thing when you realize what really happened, but you have to put your pain into something beautiful. I think that's why a lot of the men and the adults, the men and women on this call are here, because we have to, MBK was started because we have to be, what we were seeing in the community motivates us to change it. So I want to encourage you all, when you notice things aren't right, you have to understand that it's your role to change that. And you got to fight the temptation to be brainwashed and everything around you that says you can't change it, because that's not true. We're all here because of the sacrifices those who came before us laid down, and we got to carry that legacy on because it's a protracted struggle. So thank you, Brandon.
Can I add on too?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes.
All right. My name is Infinite, and I'm from Academy for Young Writers. I would
That's a
just like
dope
to
name.
ask.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. That's a dope name, Infinite. That's amazing. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry, brother.
All right. I would just like to say that I'm a firm believer that fear and desire combined is the best motivator. And I think that we chase basketball and rapping because a lot of us fear staying in the hood, and those fields hold the biggest amount of desire, which is money. So I think in order to help us like get in other fields, we need to see leaders in those fields that are making a lot of money and that are doing a lot of positive roles, because we don't really see, like in the media or anywhere else, people making large amounts of money or being very accomplished unless they're in entertainment or things like that. So we just need to be exposed more.
Right.
Infinite, my brother, man. I miss you, brother. This is Shane I miss you though, bro.
Oh, what's up, Shane?
Thank you for that fear. Like I heard a quote recently about how fear heightens our senses. You know, that adrenaline starts running, and either it's kind of like we could either do really good or we could fall and fail. So we could either succumb to that fear or use it as a motivator, because fear is normal, but it's how you use it and what you want to do that's going to determine whether you fail or you succeed. So thank you for that, Infinite. I think, and once again, your name is dope.
I want to ask Noah. Noah had a really good quote early in the chat. Noah, you talked about just recognizing each other's success. Would you mind sharing that? I think it was powerful.
Oh, yeah. I was just pointing out that often I see, especially like in in neighborhood, especially, seeing people acquire some pretty decent come-ups. And I've seen them celebrate, I've seen them enjoy it, I've seen them flaunt, but they'll see someone that they would call their brother, someone that they would call their friend, someone that they would call their associate do great, and they wouldn't have the same kind of energy. They wouldn't reciprocate that same emotion of happiness for their friend, so-called friend. They wouldn't do that for them, but for themselves, it's like the greatest thing in the world. And I just think it's so wrong that you could be so happy to win for yourself and never want to see your brother succeed. I just that doesn't make sense to me. I don't see how anyone can do that.
But no, if you think about what was said earlier, you know, we want to be rappers, and when we look up to rappers and we look up to sports icons, and think about that. You know, to this day, Isaiah Thomas and Michael Jordan don't talk because of basketball, you know, because of this game. That's what we learn. You know, if you study history, there was a point when they say that Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell were friends, but because of the basketball competition, they got to a point they couldn't be in the same room. And then rap is the same thing. You know, everything is about how can I tear you down? How can I tear you down? How can I tear you down? And a lot of times we're just not learning about brothers like you all who are coming together and building each other up. And that's part of our responsibility. That's part of our responsibility, to make sure that we're changing that dynamic, because that goes back, Noah, to that crabs in a bucket mentality, which on a plantation, everything is competition. For hundreds of years, we're competing to see who can get to the house. I run away, they have you go and catch me and beat me. And now I'm more mad at you than the slave master. We don't want to talk about those things. When I was young, I didn't know it, but that's part of the trauma that we're, you know, it's very hard for us to show affection to one another. right? Because we got to stay hard. And I think as we unpack some of our collective trauma, we see that's where it is, and we have to learn about it. So thank you for that comment, because that's very real.
Brother Brian.
Yes.
Because like I grew up with Jamed. That's my boy. He and I, like, we all had that collective thing where we all are competitive, and we do it all the time. Like, we see kids in the hallways and they're arguing over like who's the best rapper, who's the best ball player, to the point where you think we're about to hurt each other. But it's all love and it's all good. I think we do it all the time. We show that love and we show that passion. I think what we don't show is how we heal it. And I think that we need to see more examples of that healing process, because that's the only, and the most recent example that we were shown was the Jeezy and the Gucci Mane example. But we need more of that. Like, it happens, but we don't shine the light on it enough.
Right. That's right.
Yep. Think about what's glorified in the rap community. It's always, I'm trying to flex on these N-words. I'm trying to do good to flex on people that look like me. When in reality, it should be, I want to do great for myself, but if my brother succeeds, if he gets there faster than I do, I'm grateful for that. I'm gonna still keep focusing on my success. We need to build upon each other. And that lack of unity is what keeps us from ascending. It's like we're all on the same team. We got friendly fire turned on, and the enemy is the spectators. They're in the background. They're letting us kill each other or fight each other, be at odds with one another. Competition is healthy, but it's healthy in moderation. It's all about your intention behind where that competition is coming from. So thank you guys for that.
Yes. Any other comments before we move on to another question? Anybody want to comment? We got community.
Yeah, I would like to.
Someone has his hand up. He had it up for a while.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to jump in. I was trying to avoid speaking, letting the younger brothers speak. I just want to say that I think what is important is that we have knowledge of ourselves. I think that it's not accidental. It's been intentional that the true history of the world has been misrepresented. I think that if young brothers knew who they were, where they came from, that they were the teachers of the rest of the world, that we introduced the rest of the world to science, the math, the engineering, architecture, that it changes your perspective of who you are, knowing that you're valuable, that you have worth. And I think it's important to understand that sometimes when we look at our communities and we see poverty, we see crime, I hear some people wrongly say that, it's been long enough, slavery has been over, we should be able to do better. We need to understand that the history of this country, immediately after slavery, there were communities, Black communities, that stepped up and built thriving cities, and they were burnt down and they were destroyed. And we need to understand that even right now, when we think about the crab in the barrel mentality, a lot of these conditions we have right now have been created conditions. Imagine you have a group of dogs who are hanging out, they're friends, they're getting along. But if you take those same dogs and you starve them for a week and you throw a bone in their midst, they will kill each other. And we need to understand that, as the brother said, we have to be responsible for ourselves, but we have to be mindful that the conditions we're facing didn't start from ourselves, right? They're conditions that were created, and we have to truly love each other. We have to love one another. We have to build communities. We have to build networks. But it starts from when you truly know yourself, when you really know who you are. You will not hate your brother. You will not hurt your brother. You will love your brother. You will love your sister. You love your family. You love your community. And until we know who we truly are, we're going to continue this cycle. And I'll stop there.
Love your brother like you love yourself like you love your neighbor. And if you hate yourself, you're not going to love your neighbor. Thank you for that, Mr. Alexander. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There was someone else that had a comment, I think. Was there someone else?
Yeah, it's Mr. Paul. I definitely wanted to just chime in really quick, especially when I heard the part about the music. And you know, I love hip hop, I love rap music, and a lot of times we don't agree with a lot of the lyrics that is perpetuated through the music, but there are people in hip hop that believe in the same things that we are preaching tonight. And I think a lot of what happens is that those people don't get the recognition that they deserve or that they need, so that we know, or so that the youth know that there are definitely better ways. If you're above 25, then you know who Master P is, and you know what he does and what he believes in, and he believes in ownership, and he believes in building the community through his music. Now, even though you may not necessarily agree with everything that Master P says in his music, his model and the way and the things that he has done for the community and the way that he teaches young people in particular, you know, that it's okay if you want to play basketball, it's okay if you want to be a rapper, but why, instead of just participating in the industry, why don't you create an industry for yourself and for people like you? So I definitely think that it's out there, and that, you know, once the kids understand that it's out there, or they see it more, they see more of it, then it's more achievable. And that was just my piece.
Absolutely. Thank you for that, brother. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for
Any
that.
others before we move to the next question?
Miss Gurley has her hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to piggyback on that. I just wanted us to be mindful also of our narratives, right? Because certain narratives get promoted. And so I know there are plenty of groups where there are men coming together who are working and building one another up. And so it's also about the networks that you're surrounding yourself in the places where you do have control, recognizing that you guys get to shift this narrative. And the media is not always going to show us the things that look good about us, right? It's a targeted effort for a reason, right? So as you become more knowledgeable, you understand that you can't always go by what's happening in the media. And sometimes you can't always go what's happening within your mini community. You're going to have to expose yourself to other opportunities and other things so that you can see something different, and then you can teach something different, you know? And so I know for a fact, like even with my small group, we had 5 men of color come this week and do a panel about how they went through college and where they are right now, right? And so sometimes young men aren't seeing that as an option. We're looking at basketball, we're looking at games, we're seeing all of these things, but it's like, wait, there are actually people in our community who are doing great things, you know? So the more that we can align ourselves and see other options and understand that this narrative is not just our truth, that we have bigger truths than that, I think that is really important. So I just wanted to toss that piece out there as well, so that we're mindful that like we get to create a narrative, and I know that's part of MBK, that actually highlights our strengths and the things that we are doing right. So I just wanted to put that out there.
So, Ms. Gurley, that means our next district meeting should be packed.
Thank you for that, Ms.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. With it seems that a lot of our issues start from our foundation, where we're from, how we're brought up, what we see, what we're exposed to. So with that being said, obviously, you know, a lot of us being Black and brown people come from broken foundations, broken homes, missing a father, missing a mother, missing certain guidance. So what support do you think we need to see from advisors, from teachers, from peers in larger communities? What kind of support do we need in order to grow into that next step?
May I?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Name's Malone, by the way, Benjamin Banneker Academy. And I feel like the most help a mentor can provide to their mentee is the motivation and encouragement to continue achieving greatness. Because a mentee may face failure, and to them, everything is falling around down, and everything has just came to a halt. And that mentor needs to step in and be like, it's not all over. You can start from square one. You keep on going up, uplift yourself, and you know it's only over once you allow yourself to make it over. So you're able to do the work. You just need to be willing to commit to the work. So yeah, motivation, support.
I 100% agree. We need that backing. We need someone to be there to push us up when we're down, when we feel like giving up, because it's only over, as you said, when you decide that it's over. Thank you for that.
Joshua, I have one of my mentors, my big brothers, Tabari Bomani. just asked if he could say something.
Yeah. I told him, yeah, he can go next.
And before I do that, Tabari, you know, in our men's group, we used to have a motto. We used to say, boy does what he wants to do, but a man does what he has to do. I love that. We used to always dig deep into that. But this is somebody who I worked with for 10 years in Bushwick, and one of the most powerful educators that I've had a chance to work with. So go ahead, Tabari. Sorry, I had to give you that shout out.
So I hope that whatever I say makes sense now. So I just, of course, Brother Brian, I love you, Brother Terrence, and our superintendent, all the educators who are on. But I really want to say something just to the young people and my sister Katrina. I want to say something to the young people because of the last question. And I just wanted to share this, and that is, did you know we are not sick? We are not the problem. It is really not our issue. Um, this is not something that we created. There is really not anything going on that's wrong. This country is working exactly the way it was set up to work. We are in an exact position that was designed for us to be in. Nobody ever thought that we would be free enough to be speaking on a Zoom. Nobody thought that all these beautiful women would be in leadership. Nobody thought that Superintendent Ross would exist. And you cannot start something from a negative, decrepit foundation and think it's going to bear fruit that you can live off of. And so what everybody is challenging you to do is powerful, beautiful, and necessary. That you are going to have the power to reshape this country into something that it never intended to be. Because you can't enslave people and intend to have a democracy. You can't be around from 1776 and not give women the right to vote until the 1920s. Right? You cannot have an entire school system have to talk about implicit bias in the 2000s, or have a president who will call on the Proud Boys. And so I say that to you because when you walk into a doctor's office and the doctor tells you that you're sick, he doesn't punish you for being sick. And I don't want you brothers to punish yourselves because America is sick. I don't want my beloved brother from Ecuador to think that there's something wrong with Ecuador and not know the history of American intervention in South America, so that Ecuador is in the position that Ecuador is in. Right? I don't want anybody from Puerto Rico to believe that you need this Promesa bill to strip your country of more resources and turn it over to hedge funds because Puerto Ricans can't run Puerto Rico. They haven't run Puerto Rico since 1898.
Brother, speak.
And so I just want us to make sure that we know where the sickness is and that you are the cure.
Thank you for that, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
We needed that passion. We needed that energy. Appreciate it. Katora, you said you wanted to go next.
Yeah, I was thinking about it, and I feel like knowing your history, like teaching, little girls, little black boys that, our history did not start from slavery. Our history started way back before, like with all the kings and all the queens of the surface, who once ruled the world before all of these, people became for it. After it. So like just teaching them that you can be so great and you can be so powerful and that you can live up to, one of those kings or queens one day. You can be just like them. You don't have to, always follow, always have to be, this basketball player or this, rapper, who made it out the hood, you can be something, really great.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Katora. Always dropping gems.
Thank you.
The one thing I want to say is like the power and unity. I heard that come up a few times. Historically, there was a lot of effort put into keeping us apart and making sure that we didn't unite. because they knew what could happen if we were to all to come together as a community and put our superpowers together. And when we did these town halls during the pandemic, we accomplished every single goal that we put on the table, because it wasn't just the kids, it wasn't just the adults, it was everybody connecting and working towards a shared goal. And we were able to raise money to buy groceries for families who didn't have it during the pandemic. We were able to raise money to get devices for kids for remote learning. We were able to get kids projects funded. Anything that we wanted to do, we were able to do when the community came together. And that is essential, that we create spaces like this, that we have town hall meetings, even if it's through Zoom. We weren't even meeting in person and we were accomplishing these things. It was through a Zoom call, it was through clicking the link, right? So every month, our next town hall is December 15th. We're going to put an issue on the table and we're going to solve it together. And that issue is going to come from our MBK community. You guys are going to explore issues in your schools. The MBK leaders and fellows are going to look at those issues, decide on one or two, bring it to the community, and the elders, people my age, and the youth are going to put everything we got together to make sure that we can solve those. Because if we ain't going to solve it, it ain't going to happen. You know, the solution has to come from within. So if you can't always choose the hands you were dealt, but you have a choice about what you do and where you spend your time. We can't make you come to town halls. We can't make you come to MBK convenings. Every Tuesday, we have wellness workshops. A lot of our young people are dealing with anxiety and depression and all kinds of stuff. We have a class for you on Tuesdays. On Wednesdays, we have cultural identity, so you can understand who you are and where you come from. On Tuesday, you can't lead if you're not taking care of yourself. If you're not mentally okay, you're not going to be able to take care of other people. If you don't know who you are and where you come from, it's going to be hard for you to lead in a way that's coming from an authentic place. On Thursdays, it's civics. It's about civics and using your creativity to lead, creating poetry and music. All these things are happening during the week, and you guys have access to all these things. And I'll make sure that Terrence sends you guys the schedule and the links so you guys can participate in that. But that's you guys. That's your choice to participate in that. Get connected. It's not just rappers and professional athletes in your community. Central Brooklyn is full of entrepreneurs, people who went to Ivy League school, people who have doctorates and master's degrees, and they're all connected to our space. And they all want to connect with you, and they all want to help you and invest in your future.
Thank you, Tree.
Yes, 100%. There's not a word that came out of my mouth that I didn't agree with. Michael, if you would please end this discussion off with, take us out with a gem, sir.
I'm listening to everybody, and they're so woke and like listening is bringing me that passion. That passion I was talking about, Elliot. It's like it's tingling. I like to piggyback off of what Katrina said. Like, I had the honor of doing some of the town halls, and I've had the honor of being in her programs. Like, guys, look for your opportunities because they're there. They're there. I'm telling you, civics. I love poetry. I love poetry now because I went to civics. You get to do different things. You get to sing. You have so much talent in your school. And people that, the other day, when was it? Joshua was there. Katrina was there. Was it Thursday? It was Thursday. We had civics. There was this girl that didn't speak at all. She wrote this song and she sang it. It was the most beautiful thing I ever heard. And she didn't speak. When we find what's inside of us and we let it to showcase to the people beyond, it's phenomenal. And what I was saying, I want to answer your question. That was the main point. But I want to answer your question. I'm going to say something that's dear to me, because earlier this year, like when COVID was happening, it was my mental health that got me the worst. It's still getting me. Like, the depression, the anxiety, especially the motivation. Because you're staying inside, your walls are caved in. And it's like everybody's worried about themselves. So no one's speaking, no one's talking. That's why these programs are necessary. That's why these talks like this are necessary, to reach out. I want to have how many people we got in the building right now? We got 70 people in the building. Next time I want to see 100. Because we got to bring our people together. Yeah, I want to see more than 100. 100 and more. We gonna do it.
How are you gonna
yes,
see
100, my man.
How are you gonna see 100 people coming in the room? That's impossible, man.
We can do it.
Friends. Tell your friends. Tell everyone.
Manifest it. Exactly. Manifest it, because we can do it as a community. I'm telling you, we can do anything we put our mind to.
I agree.
Because we
bet
can
we
beat the
can.
odds, man.
You bet we can.
We can, my
You know,
brother. We can.
that is such a
Going for 4,700.
Very good.
Terrence, tell them, Terrence, 4,700.
I love. I see it, Albert. Yes, we have our charge from my friend, my superintendent Janice Ross. She's like 5,000. So look,
right.
it is possible. And Michael, that's such a perfect segue to our guest speaker and our brotherhood with Dr. Stinnett. I just have to say, as we get ready to welcome him on to talk about his Chris Atlas, to talk about his journey and how it supports brotherhood. I just have to acknowledge in this room, Joshua is not from one of our schools, but he's MBK. It's MBK community. We have young middle schoolers. They're not in our superintendency, but they are MBK. We have our women in here supporting us proudly. They're not males, but they are part of MBK, and we are part of MSK. This is about community, and I heard so many gems tonight, reinforcing the fact that yes, my principal, Brother Tabari, we are the cure, and we are not the sickness. And part of what April said in terms of how can we recognize those bright spots. So I'm so happy that we have everyone here tonight, because it's not about shine. This is about getting our voices heard. It's about getting our ideas out there, connecting. We have a CBO partner in Inspiring Minds with Katrina and Brian, who are helping build out our vision in terms of how we're not playing these favorites in terms of my program. This is our program, our collective program. We are all coming together to make this all happen. It's time that we stop thinking about that shine or the focus that takes away from the collective empowerment that Noah spoke about. It's about how can we start looking to each other to uplift and empower. So we are going to have these MBK the community town halls, and we'll have we come back from the break. You'll see the calendar for December. We are so blessed to be in partnership with Dr. Maurice Stinnett, because you all talked about seeing images of greatness. Well, part of this MBK Presents series from Brooklyn North is about making sure you have those people in front of you. This is our second year of MBK. We started with a preview of some of these offerings when we partnered with Dr. Stinnett at BSG Global, and we had those convenings so you can start hearing some people. So the idea was already thought of a little over a year ago, and so now with pleasure, I want to bring back to our virtual space Dr. Stinnett, so we can talk about our guest speaker, Mr. Chris Atlas. But
Yes,
Dr. Stinnett,
let me say
can you
something
please?
before-
Good night, sir.
I want to speak before he starts. Let me say something.
Go ahead, brother.
Okay, well, brother, Stinnett, how you doing?
It's good to see you.
God bless you, brother. Listen, what I observe is that many of these students always they come and they tell us something feeling. He said, no mother, no father, homeless, all kinds they say it. So I expect that when we come, brothers and sisters who have been able to go through such a situation, they might try to talk to these kids. Look, I was like that before. In my school, there's a teacher. He was leading a project and he passed to all one by one. And now he has his own brownstone in Brooklyn. And so anytime there's a situation, when I talk about Mr. Burton, you are from Ghana, you came here with money. No, I didn't come with money. I struggled like you did. But I go to Mr. Taponwe, say, please talk to these students, how you managed to get there. These students need help, someone to lift them. They think they cannot make it because when they turn around, they see shootings, everything, there's nothing moving them. But they come to us today and throw before us. Well, what about those of us who have no mothers, no father? What are we doing? So we want people who have gone through that kind of situation, like some of us, pumping gas, security guard, doing 3 jobs and going to school. So when we meet and we talk like that, they can pick from there. Say, oh, I'm not the only person who have gone through this. That I'm so proud of you when you talk about where you were before and now you are flying the planes. I'm so happy and help these kids. These are some of the things I believe we can give to these kids because most of them are going through like that. That's my part.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is the power of sharing our stories, and it's incredible. And I agree with you. And we're going to continue to do it. And thank you for everything that you do. Everything that you do every day. You come with so much love and passion. I appreciate you. Thank you. To everyone else who spoke before, I was texting Terrence, Brother Terrence, excuse me, and Superintendent, and I'm just blown away. And I don't want to ramble because I got to get my boy Chris on, but y'all have just floored me, from the educators. I learned so much from Brian, from the brother who mentored Brian, to the brothers who led Joshua, to Brandon, to Michael. I mean, I just list all of you. I'm sitting here, the students. I'm like, damn, who are these young men? This is like amazing. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. I'm leaning into hope. And let's bring up my brother who's going to give you some more hope. I want to introduce my friend and my brother, my colleague, who we quickly became close, even during COVID virtually. Chris Atlas is the current former Def Jam vice president and current executive vice president for urban music and marketing at Warner Music. Chris is a dynamic leader, music extraordinaire, and just again, he brought me into the fold. And my brother Chris gave me my first globe. If everybody can mute your phone for me, mute your phone for me, that would be great. But Chris gave me, or your laptop, whatever your device is, mute yourself. Chris gave me my first global conversation at Warner Music Group, brought me right in and set me right on that global stage with our European partners. And so I wanted to bring the best of who we are at Warner Music Group. And Chris is the best of who we are. He represents the best of the organization, the institution, and quite frankly, I'm just proud of calling my brother and friend. So without further ado, I want him to come and share. Chris, if you could pop up on the screen and take us on your journey and share your story, my friend, they're going to be in for a treat. So this is my brother and my friend, Chris Atlas.
Hey everyone, I'm here, Dr. Stinnett, and thank you. And I must say, it has been an amazing journey these past couple of months, getting to know you and working with you. And I thank you so much for the opportunity to speak to everyone today. And I tuned in early so I could hear and understand, further what MBK is about, and really hear the stories, from the young people, on this call. And as you said, I was blown away, and I was really moved, not only by the passion in, what everyone was talking about, but the sense of purpose and the sense of vision and the challenge and the opportunity that I heard from everyone. So I want to extend my congratulations and praise to you all. And Michael, I want to be a part of that challenge to help you hit over 100 people in this next conversation, because I think you absolutely can do it. And it's definitely about visualizing it, but coming up with the strategy of, rather than us all bringing one person, let's everybody bring 5 people, because this is a meaningful, group, and a meaningful, assembly, where I wish I had these types of things when I was, your age. And I think that the opportunity to network is so incredible, and I'm so moved and blown away by this experience. So thank you for the invite. To tell you all just a little bit about myself, I always start with, where I'm from. I'm a native New Yorker from the Bronx. I'm proud to be a PK. My father is a Baptist minister at Metropolitan Baptist Church in Harlem, New York City. My mother, God rest her soul, she passed a number of years ago. But they raised me to be the man that I am. And I'm eternally grateful to them for not only the guidance that they gave me and the home they provided for me, but the sense of purpose that they instilled in me to understand who I was, as not only a man, but a Black man, and understanding the challenges that I face and the opportunity as well to not squander it and not take it for granted, or take the assumptions that anyone owed me anything or I was due anything, but to work hard and take advantage of every opportunity that I have, from the education to the industry that I'm in. And I'm proud to say I have an associate's in business administration from Penn State University, a bachelor's in communication from City College in New York City.
which put me on the path to continue to not only pursue my educational experience, but my work experience. And I started early in music, and I'm blessed to have a 20+ year career in the music industry, starting at Tommy Boy Records as an intern out of college, which I think internships and mentorships is an important, role, because it helped me get started. And that's why this type of, opportunity and program with MBK it's essential, because we have to empower our youth. We have to empower each other in terms of the experience I have, the position I have. How can I bring other people through the door? Because the door was open for me, and once it was open, I continued to run through it, and I didn't look back, and I kept, looking for more. So, from my internship at Tommy Boy, where I was there and I got to work with legends such as Queen Latifah, Naughty by Nature, De La Soul, Capone Noriega, just to name a few. That led me to my next opportunity, which was at Cornerstone Promotion and Marketing, which some of you may be familiar with, a publication that Cornerstone publishes called the Fader magazine. And the Fader is a groundbreaking magazine where it is on the pulse of culture and bridging the gap between corporate marketing and music and entertainment. And, we worked on some amazing campaigns that bridge that gap in terms of Xbox, Boost Mobile, Nike, Reebok, Sprite. And while there, a big part of my role was being that connector and connecting our artists, our entertainers culturally with brands that were very interested in, reaching you, reaching us, and utilizing the entertainment platform as a way to market and connect with artists with music and culture. After Cornerstone, I moved on to Def Jam, and I had an amazing, 10-year run at Def Jam, working with, some of the incredible roster of artists that Def Jam has: Rihanna, Kanye West, Jay-Z, Rick Ross, Jeezy, and the list goes on. And that was an extremely fulfilling and enlightening period for me. But all along, with every opportunity I had, I continued to push for more. I continued to try to excel. I continued to try to hold within me the values of how I was going to ascend by being supportive, being not only a good leader, but also a good teammate and a good executive. And those are qualities that I continue to carry, because I want whoever I work with, whoever I meet, to say, hey, Chris Atlas, that's a good dude. That's a good guy. He works hard. And those are the types of qualities that I look for in the team that I work with, but also how I look to encourage people that I may interact with. So from Def Jam, I moved on to my current position, as Maurice had mentioned, at Warner Records, where EVP of Urban Music and Marketing. And a big part of my role at Warner at the time was being a part of the revitalization of urban music at Warner Records, which Warner is a historic label. I mean, massive catalog, and always been synonymous within urban music and just music in general. But, as with all companies, you go through a period where you need that reinvention, you need that reboot. And I'm, one of the executives that's part of that reinvention and bringing more frontline contemporary artists on the urban side to Warner Records, and looking to continue to expand the roster of artists we have, given urban music, hip hop, R&B is at the top of all streaming charts, consumption charts. It's leading the way. And we have some amazing artists that we're working now that are part of that, and part of how we're not only contributing to the culture, but rebranding Warner Records, including Saweetie, NLE Choppa, Wale, just to name a few. So it's an exciting time. And for me, that change, that evolution has always been the driving factor and the driving force that continues to motivate me, that continues to challenge me, where
I'm always looking to continue to grow. And I think that that's one thing that I think is essentially important, so that you don't get stuck, you don't get pigeonholed. You're continue to find motivation. You're continuing to, seek more. You seek knowledge. Like while I've been in this business 20 plus years, I feel like I'm still learning. I feel like there's people that I, need to know, and experiences that I need to know. And that again continues to motivate me to continue to be on that quest, that pursuit for knowledge, for success, but also how can I give back, particularly given that I am a senior executive now. And when I look back to when I was younger, coming up into the game, I look for mentors, I look for role models, I look for, executives that I could learn from. And, it's a funny feeling when you realize that you're in that position where you got to give back. And I realized that, a few years ago, and particularly I think with everything we're all experiencing with the pandemic, and, 2020 has just been, a year for the record books for everyone, as I know. And that has inspired me even more to do as much as I can to, whether it's be a positive, voice, whether it's giving back, whether it's trying to open the door, as I said, for young people or artists or junior future executives to get on that path for whatever they're trying to do. It's very important for me to at least do my part. And in my peer circle and people that I talk to, I'm reiterating that same message. And that's why, again, I hope I'm part of the MBK family now, and I hope you all will continue to include me in conversations and call on me as a supporter, so that I can help do whatever I can to grow and spread the knowledge that I think is truly, truly valuable.
Chris, without a doubt, you are part of the Brotherhood, and you're already in the family. And family, young folks, we're going to a question and answer session. So I'm going to queue up one question for Chris while you're formulating your questions. You can drop them in the box. There's a couple things I heard, Chris, you say that were just really so important. And even some of the young folks chimed in. They said, yeah, your focus was not on being a good leader, but being on a good teammate. And that was essential. And I think that is critical. And that's about this whole idea of being my brother's keeper. Talk to us about, when did you develop that mindset, Chris? When did it click for you that it's not about me being a good leader as much as it is about me being a good teammate? When did you make that shift to that focus?
I think it clicked for me towards the end of my term at Tommy Boy. And I think part of that was because the label was going through a period where we weren't doing so well. And when you're not doing well, that's when it becomes apparent where people start to pick each other apart and things apart. And that really forced me to kind of reevaluate, one, who I want to be around, as well as what is my long-term vision and goals for not just what I want out of the business, but what I want to contribute to the business. And in having that experience or going through that and making that realization, it actually helped me to formulate, one, the alliances and the people that I should associate, but also create a trajectory that I can try to transcend to.
Yeah.
And, there's all sorts of people and there's all sorts of executives in the game. But I've kind of prided myself with who I align and associate with, because I feel like they are like-minded with me and the work I want to do and how I want to represent myself and what I want to contribute to the game. So that, based on that, it's helped me form a really solid, and I mean really solid, network that is dependable. And I think you need that. You don't need necessarily fair weather associates, just like you don't need, fair weather friends. Like you might have some, but you really need a solid network that you can work with so that as you grow, they're growing. Because some of the peers that, I started with are no longer in the game because they didn't, whether it's make the right associations or they didn't handle business properly or they were cutthroat. And sometimes that works, and in most cases it doesn't. And it was really about me just kind of figuring out who I need in my circle and who I want. And then therefore it led to the support and the networking and the team building, which I feel is really important. Like, so that was crucial for me.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Now, I had that question, young folks, young men rather, and ladies on the call, to tee it up. So now you can chime in with your own questions. You can unmute yourself, and definitely a part of the family. You can unmute yourself, and I want you to engage Chris and asking about, again, the executive behind the music, right? This is a gentleman that has moved up the ranks and made a wonderful life. We're talking about those images, putting them in front of you, who have made a tremendous life for themselves, a wonderful success financially, very solid, and is behind the scenes. So this is an opportunity to engage. So whatever questions you have for Chris about the music industry, his journey, have at it. Let's chime in with me.
Can I say something?
Yes, Jeremy.
Hello, Chris Adler. My name is Jeremy Anthony, and the question I'd like to ask you today is, since you're a well-known executive producer, have you ever thought about, trying to get the rappers and the entertainers involved as you are in the MBK community? Because I don't know if you heard what I said before about how a lot of kids don't have faith and they think that the only way they can get out is through rap or playing basketball. So I feel like if we have some of those entertainers and those rappers tell all these young kids and young people that, hey, this is not the only way out, and educate these people, then I feel like that, if they hear it from them, they would listen more than compared to other people because of the people who they are. So my question is, have you ever thought about doing that?
I mean, well, I'm definitely thinking about it now, and I'm 100% down to help do that. And, again, and to your point, Jeremy, there are so many fields within entertainment that there's opportunities, whether you want to do A&R, marketing, creative in terms of our art department, videos, there's sales positions, there's business affairs. So again, and to Maurice's point, there's a lot of heroes behind the scenes in all aspects. And I think that there should be, and there needs to be, that heightened education or communication, I should say, about those positions that are available. Because I think, everyone always thinks about being in front of the camera because that's the light, that's the lime and the shine. But I'd much rather be behind the scenes, and I've had a much longer career behind the scenes than a lot of your favorite rappers. And I've influenced and worked with a lot of your favorite rappers. So again, now that I'm considering myself part of the MBK family, I totally am committed to helping, bring more of my peers that are behind the scenes into this discussion. And I think it will be informative for not only the people in this call, but just in general, for us to hear about those other aspects of the business that are available.
Thank you so much. Great question, Jeremy. And thank you, Chris. That's exactly right. And just to double down on what Chris just said, family, there's a whole lot of wealthy folks in the music industry. They got just as much bling, if not more, than the folks that you see on television. And I need you to, hey, Chris, can I get a witness? There's a
Absolutely. Yeah, you get definitely. Amen.
Amen. There's a whole,
maybe even richer.
That's what I'm saying. They need to know that. And so, yes, we want you to know that. We want you to know. So next question, my friend.
I think Noah had his hand.
Okay.
Hi,
Noah.
Good afternoon. First of all, it's a pleasure to speak to you, Chris. My name is Noah Francis. As a producer and an engineer, I know my skills will be often desired, And I'm just wondering, how exactly were you able to discern people you could trust from people that were trying to bring you down? Because I know that, like, being a producer, a lot of people are going to want to ask me for beats. A lot of people are going to want to ask me to do their mixes or something. And I don't want to include people in my circle that don't want the best for me.
Yeah, I mean, Noah, good to talk to you, and thank you. It's definitely, you're gonna have some trial and error, and with that, you're going to have to take some chances. And if you are truly a talented, right, you to create great art. So part of what we do is, you do your homework, you do your research, you check your network in terms of, oh, is this person on the up and up? Is this person, real? So that if you are in taking that leap of faith, or giving your art, you've at least done your homework. And then after that, you see the merits of what that person brings back. In some cases, they're genuine. In some cases, they might not be. And it's definitely, you're gonna have to go through the process with some people to really understand and see who they are and what their intentions are. I know that was part of my process. And then, people will reveal themselves, and then you'll be able to know and understand, this person is on the up and up. This person is reliable. This person, I could do business with them. That person, they didn't really reveal themselves to be genuine. They didn't follow through. They didn't deliver. And then that helps in how you formulate who's real and who's not, so to speak.
That's a great question, Noah. Thank you, Chris. It's exactly right. And the only thing I would echo what my brother Chris said is, I'm going to quote, everybody's been quoting. So let's quote Maya Angelou. When someone reveals who they are to you, believe them the first time. And so, Noah, the key is, don't make excuses for bad behaviors, bad patterns. When people show you that they're not consistent, believe they will consistently be inconsistent. When people show you they're not honest, if they lying, listen, I used to tell everybody, if you lying for me, you're going to lie to me. And so, you got to know these things, right? And so when people show you who they are, Noah, our gut tells us, go with that and believe them, okay? And that would be my piece of advice. And be okay with failure. You're going to fail your way to success. You're going to be disappointed all the way to success. Me and Chris could talk all night about the pains and the failures and the bad relationships we had. Learn from it and keep it moving. Learn from it and keep it moving, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, next question. May I, is it Michael?
Yeah, but Shane wanted to go.
Shane, okay. Oh, after Shane. Oh, yes. Okay. I'm sorry. Yes. Got it. Shane, please.
Thank you. I appreciate it. So you mentioned something about, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that have a lot of blame. I know oftentimes I tell my students there are over 200,000 occupations that exist, but I think sometimes we don't communicate how they can identify those skills to connect them to those behind the scenes positions. How did you identify those skill sets that transferred into what you wanted to do in the future? Like what was the
I mean, listen, the interesting thing for me, and you guys will laugh, I think like most, most young kids, when I started, I wanted to be in front. I had my rap group, and we were doing our thing and doing local events. Yeah, I can't tell you that one. I don't know if I'm ready for that. But so we were doing our thing, and I realized, particularly given, I'm not going to say we weren't very good, but we kind of weren't very good. So I realized through trial and error that, what, I'm probably better behind the scenes, because I had such a love for music. And some people don't ever realize that. And that's why you have so many people that try to continue to be artists, unsuccessfully. And I see a lot of them, as I'm sure you all do, in terms of, there's a lot of just, people that want to be artists that shouldn't be artists. But that's neither here nor there. But for me, when I realized that, but I also realized I wanted to be in music. I knew I had a calling to be in music. And because whether it's a failed artist or not, I knew that was my passion. To be honest, the internship drove me to get a more of a in-depth understanding of the workings of the label, because I didn't particularly know what area I wanted to focus in. But when I got the internship, it helped me in terms of, okay, well, this is what radio promotion is, this is what marketing is, this is what A&R is, this is what publicity is. So it kind of helped me get an understanding of the different, departments within the company. And then once I understood that, then I kind of honed in on, I like this area. I feel like I'd be good in this area. And that's when I continued to just try to perfect it and use my education and use my network to continue to excel in that area.
Excellent, excellent. And I think I had another question after that. Great question, Shane. I think it's Michael now.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have like a two-part question. I just want to get a little insight from you. When you were growing up, right, before like you got your internship, when did you know that was your passion? Like you were pinpointed, it wasn't a hobby, music wasn't a thing that I just want to do. When did you pinpoint like, I like this, but I'm make a career? Because me, myself, I sing, but now you as we're talking, you're opening my mind to what I could do with music other than that. So I'm like, I want to see your insight on how that worked for you.
Yeah, I mean, I always remember this because I had graduated, or I was maybe 6 months from graduating, and I was dead broke, I was living at home, and I had applied for a job at Cablevision in the Bronx. And I don't know if anybody's from New York, but Cablevision. And I needed a job, and I got the job, right? And then a week later, I got the call for the internship at Tommy Boy. And the internship, at the time was not paid. Like, they give you a little daily stipend, and it was like, all right, I'm dead broke. I need to work. I'm still living at home, which was cool. So, but I got this internship. And for me, that was like that defining decision. Because if I had taken the job and not followed my passion or my pursuit for the internship at Tommy Boy, I would have a very different existence right now. Not saying I probably wouldn't have got back into music or try to figure it out, but that was a really defining crossroad moment for me. And it was a decision of course I'm happy with. It was the right decision. But a big part of being able to make the decision was having the support, whether that was from my family or friends, to make that. And when I got that internship, I mean, I tell you, I was relentless in terms of the hours I worked, the dedication I had, the level of commitment, the conversations I had with everyone that I met. And again, that's crucial. When you get that opportunity, you have to seize it. So, and that, again, it just kind of, from there, it just continued to level up in terms of to the, higher degrees as I continued to work hard and excel. But that, to me, that was like really the defining change and moment, and decision that I had to make.
Thank you so much.
for that.
Good? Are you good? Okay. That was a great question. And I want to drop this as we go to the next one, because I'm wrapping up here. That the term passion has a couple of meanings. In the Greek, that word is suffering and pain. And I want you to think about that for a moment. We always talk about a passion for something, right? Like, I mean, is that passion, it could cause pain and discomfort. Are you willing to push past that to continue to pursue it, right? Are you going to still pursue it when it is uncomfortable? Is it just something that deeply? And then are you going to be what? Now innovative enough to recognize that you can satisfy that passion, but not necessarily in the way that you had orchestrated in your mind initially. Meaning Chris, he thought he was going to go out and be a rap star. He had this passion to do it. That wasn't the plan, but he figured out how to be innovative and still working within the industry, cultivating that passion and that desire. And I want you all to expand your thinking in that way as well, right? That it's not that it's a door that's shut. How are you going to be innovative now to pivot and to learn how to now embrace and to recultivate that passion and desire and rechannel it so that you're still satisfied? All right. And that's critically important in this journey, because success and getting to where we want to go, it's not a straight line. And I don't want to fool you. It's not a straight line. Okay. And so I think I did need to wrap it up. Chris, thank you so much for your time, gentlemen. Thank you for the questions. This is just the beginning. And we are ideating, working with Chris, and we're going to have actually just situation where, as I wrap this up, because of our lived experience, me and Chris coming from where we came from and understanding that internships are essential, we're actually creating, I'm creating and working, and he will be a part of that. But Warner Music Group, we're actually creating a robust paid internship program for students. And we're going to actually focus on creating opportunities to pay for their housing and their transportation, in addition to paying them a salary, wages while they're working with us, because we don't want that to be a barrier between you being able to pick your passion or you got to go work and take care of your family. We knew that has been historically a barrier for folks like us. And so we're actually going to mitigate that. So once you get off into those college ranks, keep us in mind, because we're doing internships like that. Okay. So anyway, thank you for your time and listening and your attention. Over to you, Terrence.
Dr. Scott, may I just say something?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
That's okay. That's okay. I just wanted to say, Chris, thank you so much for coming on tonight. I met Dr. Stinnett a few years ago. And when I met Dr. Stinnett, I felt the genuineness and the realness, and he just continued to work with our boys, no matter what. I mean, he was driving all over Brooklyn, 2 hours in traffic. I don't want to tell you what he was texting me, but he was just like, what the heck have you got me doing here? And so I just want to say what I felt from him the minute I met him is what I felt from you. And I'm not surprised, because Dr. Stinnett doesn't bring people to this space unless they're genuine. And tonight I felt that from you. And I want to say thank you, because we have 80 plus young men and older men of color, and myself as a white woman, leading 28,000 Black and brown children. What we heard today was hope. What we heard today is there is people out there that want to lift and as we climb. And I am definitely proud and honored to make you a MBK family member. So thank you so much. And the boys today, they inspired me. Their questions, their comments. Brian Favors, someone I worked with years ago, and he probably doesn't remember. I met him. I'm flawed at tonight, all around. But thank you, and Dr. Stinnett, thank you for always bringing these wonderful men to our room, to our young men. So I just wanted to make sure that I express my gratitude to the both of you. And now to you, Terrence. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think so, man. What floored. Just before we go, we have a few more words from wrap up words from our student leaders. Katrina Wehart. But first of all, again, Dr. Stinnett, thank you so much again for the partnership. Chris Atlas, again, you're a part of the family. Bring something to eat next time. We're all good. No, but the conversation does not stop here. We in December. After the break, we're gonna show you our December calendar. Our MBK Presents series will continue. We're gonna have a roundtable discussion. I think December 9th, 10th, and 11th. And then Katrina mentioned the town hall on Saturday. So we're going to have that for everyone here, and not just for our students, not just for our districts, but for every district, every student, every person who wants to come, and will attend your events as well. So please look out for that. Katrina, do you want to, Katrina, Michael, Joshua, Noah, do you want to just close us out? Brian, of course, always, brother, I'm glad that we are finally working together, so many years back in the day, and now we're here. So it's a pleasure. So I want to bring it back to Katrina and our young men to close this out.
First, I want to shout out Terrence for his leadership and vision for MBK this year. I think he's doing an amazing job. I'm really inspired by his passion and dedication to this space. So Terrence, I want to say thank you, and thank you for including Inspiring Minds in that vision.
You're a partner.
I actually want to make sure I give our young men the floor to be able to have the last words. Joshua, Noah, Michael, where you guys at?
Yeah, thank you. I would just like to say thank you for everyone to come into this discussion. This was amazing. And like, just I guess as a final gem to drop, we can't really be held responsible for how we taught and how we programmed to believe and what we were programmed to believe, but we can decide to change that programming starting today. We can decide to change whether we want to relearn or we want to change our current circumstance, or if we want to stay in this situation, we're content with this oppression. So with that being said, I hope everyone's having a great day. And if anyone else would like to go, maybe you got something better.
Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Joshua. But I just wanted to do like Josh. I wanted to thank all the students, all the advisors. I want to thank Mr. Net. I want to thank Terrence. I want to thank Ms. Ross. I want to thank Mr. Atlas, Katrina. You guys made this possible. So I want to thank you guys so much. And for all the kids who spoke and showed their passion for it. So thank you.
I mean, I'm the third one. I don't know what else I could say that they have. But, again, thank you, everybody, adults, children, whatever your age might be. I feel like I've actually gotten a lot of wisdom from this, a lot of intelligence. I feel like I got blessed with a lot of wisdom today. So thank you, everyone, for your wise words.
Yes, you, Albert. Yes, you too. Thank you.
Yes, Albert.
I like that. I like that energy.
And I also want to shout out my friend and colleague, Brian Favors. We actually met back at Penn State University. I heard Chris Atlas say that he went there too. So
yeah.
Okay. I was a basketball player there from 1998 to 2002. And Brian Favors was actually my advisor.
Boy, we are is in the house.
Yeah, we are.
Nittany Lions.
He was a grad assistant, and he was the first person that actually introduced me to my cultural identity in a deeper state. So it's been an honor to be able to everything comes full circle. Now we're reconnected 20 years later, and we're working together. And he's able to provide for all these young men and the larger community the same thing that he provided for me when I was young. So I want to say thank you and I love you. And I'm really excited about working with this community, with Terrence, with Janice, Maurice, Dr. Stinnett is from Ohio. I'm from Ohio too. So I gotta shout you out.
Midwestern love. I didn't know that. Okay.
Born and raised. So thank you guys. And we're gonna have more town halls. Again, we are the solution, and we're gonna really, really figure things out in these spaces. So thank you. And we'll have a recording of this town hall. I'll send it to Terrence, and Terrence will send it out to all of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna play one of Noah's beats.
Hey, Katrina, one thing we'll email. We had some giveaways. We'll email the giveaway, right? We'll let everyone know.
Ooh, giveaway.
Yeah, we had.
We'll email. We're gonna email the winner. So we're gonna have that for you. So look out for your emails. All right. But you want to take us out with one of Noah's gems?
Yeah, I'm gonna play one of Noah's beats. Also, you can follow us on Instagram at Inspiring Minds NYC. I post a lot of videos about our journey with MBK and all the other programs we're doing across the city. And I'm about to put on one of Noah's beats. So give me a second as I pull that up. Let's see, where is it? We played that one already. Okay, here we go. Okay, give me a second. I gotta find it again.
I'm sorry, what did you say your Instagram was?
It's right in the chat. Inspiring Minds NYC.
Okay, thank you.
Jonathan, what school do you go to?
Sure. I'm Jonathan's brother, but this is my brother coming right now.
Oh.
Hi, I'm from MBHS, Millennium Brooklyn High School.
Nice. Good to see you. Good to see you, both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love that you brought your brother. Good for you, sweetheart.
Yeah, thank you.
Love it. That's awesome. Albert, what school do you go to?
A Tech.
All
right. Tech, all right.
A Tech, the one of the best schools in technology. Yes.
All right.
That's right. That's right.
Good to see you.
Dr. Harris, good to have
Yes,
you here.
sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Albert, we're going to get to 100 and we're going to get to more. You know, one time we had over 400 in one room at the Barclays Center. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, you just stick around and watch. And now we have Chris as one of our MBK family members.
Yeah.
We're good now, right?
I'm in the house.
All right, Katrina, let Chris hear one of Noah's beats.
All right, I'm trying to.
Well, we were trying
to,
you know,
Here it
show a little bit talent. That's what she's
Yeah.
doing.
Just play it now.
Here it goes.
Took me a while. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's the Isley Brothers sample? That's the Isley Brothers right there sample?
Yeah, for the love of you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, I like how Katrina want to put me on the spot right away. See, I don't know how you do. See, you gave me the spot. Hold up.
That's hot though. That
Yeah,
sounds
it
good.
Thank you.
See what you started,
Oh,
Katrina?
Michael's gonna sing?
I do it?
See what you started? Yeah. I know that I can get it, but I know you're trying, baby. But I know it. I know you'll find a way to get on. All right, see, that's what I'm doing. See, I can't be smell like that. But we're gonna do that.
I have a question for Noah.
Come here. What's up?
You got any contact information or something for your beat?
Yes.
All right, y'all.
All right, good night. That was tough. That was good.
Everyone, thank you for
Good night,
coming
everyone.
out.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone. Good night, everyone.